What's up, everyone? Today we are checking out God Sees All with Nina Kosaka and Ike Eveland. Now, I'm super excited about this one. A lot of you have been recommending this, and Nina Kosaka, we've heard her in the original God Sees All when I heard it in all the NIJISANJI group songs, but this time we've got just her and Ike. So Ike is part of Luxium, I believe, and we've heard a lot of Ike on this channel. Massive fan of his voice, his metal screams, and his high-pitched treble tone singing voice is absolutely beautiful. I love his voice. And I haven't really heard much from Nina. I only really know just the little snippets I got to hear from God Sees All. I don't recall any other parts I've really seen from Nina. So this is my first real exposure to her voice. So I'm very excited to check this out. We'll get right into things in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. I like this instrumentation already. Ooh. Nice. I love that. Okay, so it looks like we're getting this metal-esque instrumental style for God Sees All. I'm liking this. I assume that might have been some of Ike's influence there. Let's go back, because I feel like, if I heard that right, it sounded like they opened the guitar with the pinch harmonic, and then it was a quick stutter before an acoustic sounding snare. Let's go back to see if I heard that correctly. Okay, interesting. We got a swooping a swooping snare. Perhaps using a bass drum or a tom to kind of put under the snare to emphasize it, or perhaps that's just a literal acoustic sound picked up by the mic as the stick hits the snare. That sounds acoustic to me, and it sounds beautiful. A wonderful introduction, and we get that beautiful guitar right there. Interesting. Interesting. So she's holding her notes very static here. Instead of the original song, it was very fluid, flowy, artsy. There was a lot of inflection. This time, she's going for power. We're getting no wavering. She's got a very powerful, consistent tone here, and it's very intense. And I assume that's to match the instrumental. I like how the entire aesthetic of this visual, the instrumental, and how she's projecting her voice, it's very powerful. I really like that. Ooh, interesting. So I wouldn't have expected this. It seems like her voice was taken down in the mix. We got some vocal effect on it, and we're letting the guitar kind of take the front of the mix here. It sounds, ooh, she added some inflection there. I like that. And she added, I like how she also added inflection on the line where it was in the emotion. So she obviously is very aware of how she's projecting her voice. Time keeps going in the emotion. I like that. So she adds a bit of a run in the emotion, whereas on the other parts, she's holding her notes, projecting very intensely. I like it. I like how she's projecting her voice here, but the instrumental, for me, is taking the stage. And I think it should, I think that's the intention here. I think it should be taking the stage, because it seems like very much during that breakdown there, we got the guitar very high in the mix, and we even had a vocal effect to lower the vocals in the mix. So this is obviously meant to emphasize the metal aesthetic of this cover. Well, I say cover, but she was in the original song as well. I really like her lower vocal tone. Ooh. Ooh, wow. Okay, I really like that rhythm switch up there. That was a very smooth transition. You can hear that. If you hear that, we have a little hi-hat at the back of the mix, and it raises, and then we get a drum fill, and then it goes into this new rhythm here that's very funky. I like it. Ooh, and if I'm sorry, I keep pausing, but I love how that bass is matching the guitar, and then sorry, not the guitar. The bass is matching the drums. The bass guitar is matching the drums, and we get it as those toms are being hit on the drum, but as we go more into a cymbal mix-up with the snare, the bass pulls away and just lets the treble shine through, as well as Nina's voice here. And so we're getting the bassier tone from Nina's voice, and it's more isolated in those bass tones, so it's emphasizing the vocalist more than the instrumental like we were before. So it's creating a bit of a contrast in the mix now. She has a very interesting, she's projecting her words very interestingly. Like, for example, when it says God sees all, I feel like in the original that would have been held out a lot more, but she made that very intense. Staccato just got the air out and cut it off very cleanly. And I feel like, I don't think that's accidental at all. I really like how she's trying to play with the rhythm, play with her projection, play with her inflection, though I think it's quite interesting. She's playing with her inflection by taking it away for a lot of parts. She's adding it to things like emotion and stuff like that, whereas she takes it away from a lot of these other more metaphysical lyrics. And I feel like that's to emphasize the metaphysical nature of an omniscient God. So I'm liking how she's approaching this song. Nice. 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 That's beautiful. And then Ike again. Yep. I like that. So and you can hear when Ike's screaming there, you can hear the guitar goes up high. It does this squealing double stop note. You can hear it, and that is the trigger for Ike to switch his vocal scream, because that's on the segment. That separates the segment. So we get Ike screaming in one pitch, and then we get that vocal or we get that guitar double stop squeal note, and then we go into a different scream, and then the double stop squeal note separates that segment, and now we go into the next. I really like how that was segmented out there.
Everything is gone. We know the world that
it feels like she's holding out more. I really like, you can hear she's lifting her voice more. It feels more airy and a little more breathy, and it feels like she's holding out the words a bit more than she was before. And then you can hear those keys are higher in the mix now, even on this Ike's screaming part here. And what did we get right before this Ike screaming part? We got the emotion line again, which was, I like how she said it this time. It felt less of that emotional inflection from before, and now we've got this sort of almost factual analysis of emotion going right into Ike's part. So now it feels like before, when she said emotion, it felt like Nina was sort of expressing her emotion, and then now we've got Ike expressing his emotion, is how I'm interpreting this segmentation of the mix. And you can hear she's more fierce when she says emotion here. beautiful. Wow. We're getting a very high bass drum. Ooh, that bass. I like that. As she came up, you can hear, as she came up on time, you can hear the bass guitar in the back come up with her and then go back to that tonal center. I really like that. Ooh, actually, you can hear it goes up when she says time, and then when she says we keep praying, and she goes up, this time the bass guitar goes down. So it went up and then down. So to kind of, we had it match her, and then we had it loom in the mix a bit, and then now it's coming back. So we're adding some variation. We're adding some inflection by playing with the mix. I really like that. Nice. Got a bit of vocal layering for the we are part. Nice. Ooh. That was a nice. So we got a string build-up cut out. Then she comes in with those. It feels grand. It feels very majestic when the drums come in. It feels like a bell. I'm not sure if that's a symbol there or if it's a digital effect that's used for that, like, sort of bell. Or I don't want to say gong because it's definitely not a gong, but it's like a bell that's used behind the bass drum. And just for the introduction of Nina's vocal line here, and it creates this wonderful effect that was definitely emphasized by the building strings. And then Ike's scream here was beautiful. It felt very different, especially when he says only. And when you can hear when he says only, there's a very different inflection from earlier. You can hear that. It feels like you're gagging on the air when he says only. You can hear him. It feels like he's inhaling on the scream almost. I really like that hitch, that inflection in the scream. To be able to manipulate your scream like that consistently, that's very impressive. I love that. Nice. And you can hear that bell effect there. I love this. And you, again, you can still hear that squealing double stop guitar note segmenting out the parts there. Ooh. A lot of gain on this guitar. Dang. Okay. That was God Sees All from Nina and Ike. Wow. I really liked that. I have to say that is from the two renditions I've heard of God Sees All, that has to be my favorite. I am quite the metalhead. I loved how this was put together. The instrumental was beautiful for this. Nina's voice is very rich. It's very deep, and it's very satisfying to the ear. And it was wonderful to hear Ike backed up by that squealing guitar. The way the mix lifts up for his screaming parts are wonderful. You can hear the guitar. It feels like it's more treble centric as opposed to how bass centric it is throughout Nina's parts. And you can hear just the way it squeals to segment out the parts without, it doesn't feel drastic. It's just it's ironically a subtle squeal from the guitar. And it's using those double stop notes to kind of match where it is in the rhythm, so it doesn't feel out of place to suddenly have like a lead guitar line that just segments out the parts where Ike is screaming. So it's very fluid. It was a very fluid mix. It worked to the benefit of the vocals, and I'm a massive fan. So yeah, thank you so much for recommending this to me. As always, feel free to recommend more. Just make sure when you're recommending something in the comment section below, don't post a link. Just put the title of the song and the channel I can find it on, and then I'll add it to a playlist where I keep track of all my future reactions. So yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you stopping by and watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.